Hey everyone, this is Villains Man. I'm JVD.
I'm Evan the Great.
Today we're going to bring you another episode of Behind the Mask. And today we're doing DC's favorite assassin mercenary, Deathstroke, aka Slade Wilson.
AKA the Terminator.
The Terminator. Man, I wish he would use that a lot more often with
They should.
So, as you know...
but I got a story behind that later.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Watching various videos and trying to get ready for this. I know Deathstroke pretty well through the comics and then TV appearances and the video games. But the reason that they just call him Deathstroke now is back in the day in 1980 when they debuted him, and then he had his own series called Deathstroke the Terminator.
Yeah, in the early 90s.
At that time, this movie called The Terminator came out. And it says that DC Comics didn't want to have a character in a small comic book in their world, Deathstroke the Terminator, which is in the Teen Titans books. They didn't want that associated with the Terminator. They wanted him to be his own, so they took that title off for many years.
And it's funny because in that his first ongoing series, I think it's like issue 23, it looks like he is fighting Arnold Schwarzenegger on the cover because he's got him in the chokehold. Because I remember that was the first issue of Deathstroke Terminator I ever had. I got it back when they 90s when they gave them 3 packs of comics, and it was in there.
Crazy.
So and that's what got me hooked on the character. But anyway, so what we do here behind the mask is we kind of break down the abilities, the intelligence of characters and their armor, and then we throw them in a thing we call crossover collision, where we make 2 people fight each other and we base it on locations. And we try to sway each other on what we may think if we're different. So if you know anything about Deathstroke, like any good soldier in comic books, he's went through an experiment, basically a super soldier experiment.
Yeah.
And the main thing that this has enhanced him with is he can use basically 9/10 of his brain, 90% of his brain. And basically this makes him strategize quicker and process information faster. So basically he's always like 5 moves ahead.
Correct. A little story, if you didn't know, I don't know his origin going into this, but the serum that JVD's talking about, was that he was actually tricked into taking that. Do you know that?
Well, yeah.
I didn't know that until I read it.
Well, and here's the thing, then you've got his whole rebirth in the New 52, so things get changed, when he joined the Army at the age of 16, he lied. But the thing about this, using 90% of his brain, is he was already a brilliant tactician before he took it, so being able to process information that much faster made him that much more deadlier. And to speak to his tactical mind, when World War was coming, Superman went to Deathstroke, not Batman, for tactical advice. He wanted him to help him. So that right there should say a lot about Deathstroke as a character. Even at one time, I think it was Stargirl, that was Deathstroke, I think this is the New 52. Martian Manhunter is projecting her not to deal with Deathstroke because he is that deadly.
He is.
And I mean, in the New 52, he's on a whole other level after post-crisis, the post-crisis character. But to move on from that, just like all super soldiers, strength. He's very strong.
According to my research, he is strength-wise, he's able to lift the amount of 10 men.
10 men, and it's a good thing you said that, because let's kind of play that on averages here. Okay, so what would you say the peak Olympic muscle-bound man lifts? Just say bench press.
Oh,
based on Batman.
Shit. Batman, like 800 pounds.
Okay, that's awesome because that's what I have wrote down. So if 800 pounds times 10, about 8,000 pounds, all right?
Mm-hmm.
That equals 4 tons. So he's around the age of 4 tons, and even with some of his feats of strength, that would make him even stronger. Because he has tore the door off of a plane when it was going 500 miles per hour in the air.
Yes.
So that's a lot of force just on him. And though he's done this with, when he had his his ninth mental armor, he's shown to actually push a door out without it beforehand. So that right there just says something about his strength. And you've also seen him trading blows with characters, especially in the 80s, like Starfire and Wonder Girl, which are basically your 2 heavy hitters at the Teen Titans at that time. There's even multiple times where she has tried to lasso him, and he has dodged it, grabbed it, and been strong enough to swing her around and crash her into what it usually always seems a Starfire. So that right there just gives you an idea of how strong he is.
Yeah, his combat, his tech, strength, speed, like David D saying here, he fought the Teen Titans, and a lot of people laugh at Teen Titans. They have some powerhouses on that team.
Yeah.
And he gives them a run for their money, if not defeating them on some occasions. He's also fought the Justice League in Identity Crisis.
Okay, well, let's hold off on that because that's not a straight up fight.
Anyway,
I hate when people bring
I know, but he did do that. He's also fought Batman and Nightwing together on several occasions and separate.
Okay, so let's since you bring it up, let's go to fighting skill.
Sorry, I love Deathstroke.
Oh no, in the 90s, he went 1-on-1 with Batman on a building, and he left Batman laying down. That right there should tell you enough about how strong of a fighter he is.
Yes.
Even within, after the New 52 and whatnot, there is a point where he is in a very weakened state fighting Batman, and they're on an equal playing ground, and he says if he was healthy, he would beat Batman in 3 moves.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing about Batman. He's basically DC's golden boy, and they build him up against a character like that, because they have to. Technically, Deathstroke should be able to beat Batman fairly easy.
Yes.
But like I said before, March Manhunter told Stargirl's character, much stronger, not to deal with him due to his fighting capabilities. And then here in Rebirth, he's even beat Bronze Tiger pretty handedly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that right there just should say, loads about his fighting skill, even though most characters in comics are, supreme, fighting people. So, I mean, you just take that however you want.
That's what we hear at Villains Demand, break it down.
We're trying to. Another thing that, as a super soldier, speed. He's very faster than the average peak human being a super soldier. Just like any good character in comics. He dodges bullets. He dodges blast. Now, when I say blast, though, if you think about it, back to the Teen Titans, he dodges blast from Starfire.
Mm-hmm.
Which says a lot because Starfire is a pretty heavy hitter.
Yeah, his like you said, his speed and his strength, able to fight them and dodge them. Just to give y'all a perspective, I'll probably do this a couple times. He has basically he's Captain America with a super serum. They gave this to somebody who worth it.
Has a super serum.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, Captain America was he was brave and everything, but he wasn't a badass before they gave him the serum.
Very true.
He was a badass, and then they gave him the serum, and they continued.
Yeah, like I said, he joined the military at 16, and he was already beating grown men. So that right there should show you the level that he is on. To deal with speed, he is quick enough to react to Kara throwing multiple stones out of the earth, chunks of earth at him, and quick enough to blow them all away with his blast staff. He's caught Hawkman in midair and beat him to the ground, and even Hawkman was impressed by his speed. He had problems fighting Deathstroke 1-on-1. He's dodged a missile point blank that was coming to his house. So I mean, his speed is off the charts. There's not really a precise number I've ever seen given with his speed, but if you think about it, has to be faster than your normal super soldier. Just like, Captain America, Black Panther, you think he would probably be faster than them?
Yeah, there's multiple occasions where he is fight the Titans and they had Kid Flash or Flash on the team and then he hit them.
Yeah, right there. That's speed and reflex. I mean,
it's the same.
He's hit them characters. So right there just says just a load about his speed. Now, an interesting thing with Deathstroke is when you get to his durability, because you got to look at his durability without his armor, because he's known for having badass armor. But he's got a regeneration, and it's not on par with characters like Wolverine and Deadpool, but it is super fast. There was a fight between him and Speedy and Cheshire, and Speedy had stabbed him in the chest, and he already had Cheshire's poison flowing through his system, and he was able to fight that off and still beat them. So that right there just says what his regeneration's capable of. I know he's taken a full dose of venom from Snakebite recently in the New 52 and stuff, and Snakebite was surprised that he was still alive.
Yeah.
And he was still in a weakened state and beating these guys like Snakebite. So right there, his durability plays off a lot due to his regeneration, and that's not without his armor, which we'll get to later. couple other small things power-wise. Did you know Deathstroke can detect people by scent?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it's something more here in the new 52 Rebirth stuff. But he's fighting some aliens, and he can tell that they're aliens just due by their smell, that they're not from Earth. So that's, depending on your situation, that's a pretty neat trick to have.
That is insane.
Yeah, he has become resistant to mind control. Jericho has tried to mind control him, and he found it very difficult to try to mind control him.
I wonder if because his brain is so strong.
See, good point, because that's one thing I've always thought about. It's because he uses so much more of his brain than what we apparently do, and as people, that he would be able to fight off telepathic attacks. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing I've always thought about when it comes to him. How people are like, well, how can he do that? And you think 90% of your brain, you should be able to focus more, process things faster.
Yeah.
So another small thing is, and the Bearded Wanderer told me this, his body temperature is always at 110 degrees, where your normal person is 96 degrees, which helps him fight off disease and poisons faster. It also helps him survive cold temperatures when he doesn't have to rely on his regeneration so much. So that's a really nice little thing to have. But in that kind of sums up his powers in general. Now let's get to what Deathstroke was really known for. Weaponry.
Yes.
As we were talking about his regeneration and his durability, the main thing he's really known for is his armor. If you go to his classic armor, his Promethean armor, he's taken some pretty healthy shots. Let's go back to Starfire. Even though he's dodged blast, she has blasted him, and he has gotten up from it with his Promethean armor torn. That's pretty impressive.
Yes.
There's also, and this is all post-crisis, he's also been shot by a helicopter, both barrels. Most helicopters carry 50 cal rounds.
Yeah.
And they didn't even phase him with his Promethean armor. So that right there says a lot about how he takes his job. He's very well prepared due to this. With this armor, he's survived punches from Superboy, like I said, blasts from Starfire. He's even had large chunks of rocks or buildings fall on him, and he's been able to, take the damage, and going back to his strength, he's been able to lift them off of him.
That's impressive.
It is impressive. Now, what he's mostly known for, come the New 52, and which we've talked about, is his ninth metal armor. This has made him an extreme powerhouse. He takes a shot from a submarine thrown at him, and then survives an explosion afterwards with it. He has survived a barrage from Lobo, who has gone toe-to-toe with Superman. And he's survived basically a lynching from Bizarro clones. And not only that, the ninth metal helps with his regeneration. It also increases his speed, his durability, and his strength. Well, go ahead.
Speaking of the ninth metal and the Prometheus armor, both of them, through his incarnations, back to what we say in the Promethean armor, it has a lot of, for one, it's nearly unbreakable is what I've researched it.
Yes.
And the armor absorbs energy, and it can produce energy, and it increases all of his already prowess, strength, and speed. And then when you get to the ninth metal, which is a negate gravity effect, which makes him lighter on his feet and quicker, and it also has property that increases healing and all that stuff. And so on top of all that, he's a super soldier without any of this. And he can do all that stuff, 110 body temperature, fight off disease. And then he has this metal that basically promotes that, basically, how do you say that? Makes it better.
Yeah, it increases.
And then the newer stuff, the ninth metal, also increases it again.
Okay, well, you had mentioned that it absorbs energy. That's his icon armor.
Yeah,
that's currently what he's wearing. Which is basically...
I'm breaking down the icon armor.
Which is basically his classic Promethean armor with a couple of upgrades. The first thing was... it relies on kinetic energy, so basically being a super soldier himself fuels it. His speed and just his movements alone charge the armor. So the armor is in a constant charge as long as he's fighting in it. And then, like you said, it's able also to absorb kinetic energy, which it can also send a feedback with it. He's done this fighting Superman,
Yeah,
and it's actually made Superman bleed. And when you make sense, if you think about it, that means as hard as you punch him, you're more likely going to get hit as hard back due to it. And that, to me, that's why Superman bled. He literally punched himself in the face.
Sorry to bring other characters in, but there's an issue, I can't remember which one. It's where Gladiator is fighting Cannonball, who has a similar effect. He absorbs energy and he knocks the shit out of him, just like he did to Superman.
He's also survived multiple punches with Wonder Woman with this armor on.
That is
who was actually extremely pissed at him at the time. So it's not only is he just fighting Wonder Woman, it's an enraged Wonder Woman. And so, I mean, that right there tells you just how awesome this armor is. Now, he's also recently modified it to siphon the speed force from characters like Flash.
Yeah.
And, you know, he can be with Impulse Kid Flash. And so it'll allow him to move as fast as he wants. So he can match their speed. And he has been shown to travel back in time with this. But we're not worried about that because this is a straight-on fight between whoever he's facing.
Yeah.
Now, the bad thing about the Icon armor and with absorbing this kinetic energy, it can overload.
Yeah.
So, if there's no release, much like where he had fought Superman, it will backfire and blow up. So, and then the real question comes, well, can he survive that amount of explosion without the armor? Because his regeneration, though it's good, it can be slowed down when it takes too much damage. So there is a way that possibly killed Deathstroke.
His wife tried to kill him.
Yeah.
Secret. That's why he's missing an eye.
There you go. Which he's recently grown back.
I didn't know
he has that back now, and he hates it because he's used to.
I remember reading that because I don't read the newest stuff with Deathstroke in it. But
he'll fight with his eyes closed. Yeah. He's done it fighting Bronze Tiger. He would do it with his eyes closed because he's not used to it. It throws him off. So that's a neat little weakness there. So even when he wears a mask, it's good because it still covers his eye.
Yeah.
Speaking of Promethean armor, he's known for carrying a Promethean Sword. Now, this sword is pretty badass. It's sliced through vehicles like cars and airplanes. That's with not him being juiced up at all because Promethean is almost, I guess you could say, on par with adamantium.
Yep.
Now, here's something that's very impressive about the sword. Come New 52 Rebirth stuff. Not only has he cut Superman with it, it has absorbed his heat vision.
I did not know this.
Yes, Superman in the fight went to hit him with heat vision, and he was blocked.
Yeah, it has the properties of the armor; it would absorb it.
So yeah, it absorbs some of the energy. So that makes him extremely dangerous with it.
Son of a bitch.
Old man, he's Deathstroke for a reason. And then probably the most known weapon he's for is, depending on what you call it, his energy staff, blast staff. I've heard it called shotgun staff, which is probably my favorite thing about Deathstroke. I think that's just a very neat weapon, and you can tell it's very out of the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing that we need to break down with this weapon. You've seen it where it shoots blast, and it shoots almost, it'd be like a, kind of like the barrels you put shotgun rounds in, and boom, it just shoots that one round off. Mm-hmm. Like you see them use that with, to take down large animals and stuff. Or it's also been known to shoot the energy almost kind of like lightning out of it. So to determine for battles, we need to determine either it works both ways, because I've seen it a blast strong enough to blow holes through people, blow people through walls. And I've seen this energy side, so we need to determine here when it comes to him battling, does it do either or both? Because it also can be split to two.
Knowing the technology in his armor and what he can do with it, I think it'd do both, man. It sounds crazy, but
okay. So the energy staff, blast staff, not only blast you, it shoots energy like this lightning energy that we've seen here.
What I mean by both, I would think it would do one or the other, like not at the same time.
Okay, now if you know anything about Deathstroke, besides all this awesome, comic book gear he carries, and this is a first for Behind the Mask, he also carries an arsenal of firearms.
He does.
Now, the thing is, me and the Bearded Wanderers talk about this, it's comic books. You can't just be like, well, he's got an AR-15 or he's got an M16. He's got, you shouldn't name a gun specifically.
Yeah.
So, like, a handgun is a handgun. Machine gun is a machine gun. A sniper rifle is a sniper rifle.
Mm-hmm.
So what me and him were talking about is a handgun for when we do crossover collision would carry 10 rounds.
Okay.
Now, we were talking about that Deathstroke would probably carry 2 pistols, 2 clips each. That's 40 rounds for his handguns.
Yep.
A machine gun, 3 clips, 30 rounds each. You do see him carry a sniper rifle very often. He has used one. But a sniper rifle you wouldn't have clips with because it's usually a one-shot thing. He would carry 5 rounds because even though he's never missed, you never know. Yeah. I mean, he's not going to carry just one bullet. He's also known for carrying grenades.
Lots of different ones.
Yes, but we've kind of just regular shrapnel grenades is what you mostly see him use. So we were thinking maybe 3.
Just for his carrying capacity, I did read research into that a little bit. It's got like a utility belt, like Batman does, and he also has ones around his arm.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many he would be able to carry, but go ahead.
Well, I mean if you think about it, I mean, okay, that's 2 pistols, a machine gun, a sniper rifle, grenades. He's also got his blast staff, and he's also got his sword.
Yeah.
And then before each battle, we'll have to determine what armor he's using.
Yeah.
Therefore, you kind of give an idea of what he's capable of, depending on who he's up against. So, as we are in agreement with the blast staff, energy staff does both types of attacks, and that this is the arsenal he has firearms-wise.
Yes.
All right. This wraps up this episode of Behind the Mask for Deathstroke the Terminator. I'm JVD.
I'm Evan the Great.
Keep reading, guys.